selected farmers from the county in different areas and a minority advisor. And they hire the CED and supervise that position, and they also are over the delivery of farm programs for USDA. Nowhere else in government, I think, will you find a tie to private industry like that. We have a board of directors that's similar to what a bank would be, or maybe an insurance group. And it's a privilege to work with people that understand, know the community, know the neighbors and the other farmers that you're working with, and they make decisions. A lot of our business is routine. I don't want to fool anybody, but when we have those complicated issues that come up, things that are a little bit outside of our handbooks and policy and procedures, it's nice to have a group of farmers that knows people in the area, know the farming practices, and can make decisions. And that, again, that does make us a little bit different than other government agencies. We also administer all of the farm programs, and I don't want to bore you, but if you kept up for 2 years, we didn't have a farm bill. One finally got passed and we implemented it. Just recently, for 2014 and 2015, trying to get caught up, we've made 1 year of payments, and in Dillon County alone, out of the office that's right down Commerce Drive here, we made over $800,000 worth of program payments the 1st of October. If you listen to all the factors they give us on the economic impact of those dollars, they say it's 5 times. By the time it goes through the grocery store, goes through the gas stations, pays other people, pays off loans at banks or whatever is done with it, it grows 5 times, which would put it close to $2.5 million, if you will, in Dillon County within the last 2 weeks. And that's just part of what we do. Also, with the storm damage, if we'd had the flood that we saw in Williamsburg, Clarendon, Georgetown, and maybe Horry County and some of the other coastal region counties, we certainly received in Dillon County, the reports through our office were 8 to 22 inches of rain. We filed crop disasters, and we'll talk about that a little bit, but we filed crop disaster reports so that the President and the Secretary of Agriculture would know that we had suffered losses here in Dillon County. We have implemented the Emergency Conservation Program, which is federal dollars to help with disaster that occur from natural things like flooding. We had the ice storm a couple years ago. However, with the eligibility requirements, there's not a whole lot we can do with that money. Most of our losses that we've seen so far are either roadways, which would be for the state or federal government or county governments to fix most of the roadways, or it's with crop losses. And in the Farm Bill, they did away, actually we haven't had an ad hoc disaster program since 2007. And the ad hoc disaster program would look at a producer's losses minus his whatever he got paid from crop insurance and make him a payment up to a certain payment limitation. And not having that, we've got a lot of farmers that have suffered a tremendous amount of losses, even in our county, even though we didn't have the rivers and the waterways that caused the damage some of our surrounding counties did. But we've lost crops. We had a drought this summer, and our corn crop lost anywhere from 30 to 40%. And, you know, that's unusual because in some parts of the county we got thunder showers at the right time during a drought, and we made some awful high yields too. So we have quite a variety of production results. But with the rain, if you've ridden by, you've noticed that a lot of peanuts, even since the 1st of October, are just being dug. And when they're being graded, they're getting docked on their grading, and we probably have lost, they say anywhere from 45 to 70% of our yield on peanuts. Cotton, especially that was defoliated when the big rains came, you've watched it just kind of pull itself out of the bowl into the ground. And we've had, you know, I haven't seen a lot of yield data in yet, but we've had considerable losses in cotton too. And currently there's not a program through our office to help with that, other than next year, the 2015 RPLC ought to take into consideration if the county yield process through NASA worked right, that we've had some yield losses, and then there's been some prices that are underneath cotton, especially as low. And that's the calculations and the things that we do in our office. I know when we were making tobacco payments, which ended a couple years ago, people said, why do the farmers get paid for their tobacco allotments or the landowners. And then we hear all the time, why do the farmers get supplemented for crops? And you know what, the old layout program or subsidy programs. And we don't have the subsidy programs, and the tobacco programs are gone, but they are given to the farmers in most cases to benefit you and I as a consumer, to keep food and fiber costs down to where we can afford it. This country still produces the cheapest food and fiber in the world, and these programs are part of what enables us to do that. We have a pretty tough situation right now with the farming in our community and even across the country. I see some lenders in the room, but the farm service agencies, farm loan programs are telling us that 50 to 75% of the farmers in our area will not cash out this year, and 20 to 25% may not farm again. Those are numbers that affected this country in the 1980s. We don't want to see that. It certainly impacts our abilities to feed the world and to have cheap food prices. I'm not supposed to get political in my job, but I see Tom Rice's PR. Would I be correct? But some of our local congressmen and senators or U.S. congressmen and senators are working on trying to see if there's any money to appropriate to maybe help us with an ad hoc program. So I would encourage all the farmers that in order for us to have any relief, it's going to take congressional action, and you let them know what you need and do your part. And that's about all I can say as a government employee on that issue. But we do need some help. The other thing that we hear, and I brought some data, I don't want to keep you all day, but we hear that why are we spending this kind of money and so much money on the farming community and we don't on the other industries across the country. And I'm not sure that we don't in all cases, but the farm bill, and it was interesting Googling and looking at the total dollars because I found about 3 different things for 2015, but roughly $25 billion for the USDA farm bill in 2015. 80% of that goes to nutrition programs like WICs and food stamps. 5% is attributed to commodities, 8% to crop insurance, 6% to conservation, and another 1% for administrative issues. So you can see how little bit of the actual USDA Farm Bill funding goes to serve the farmers. Also, because I think sometimes as consumers, we don't realize, but to give you a little bit of a breakdown since it's Thanksgiving, and you have to excuse me, I've had some surgery on my eyes and I have a little trouble reading fine print. But a 1 pound turkey retails for $1.78, and the farmer would realize 93 cents for that turkey. A pack of 12 dinner rolls retails for $3, and the farmer would receive 6 cents. One pound of boneless ham retails for $4.39, and the farmer would receive 74 cents. I could go on and on because all the prices are like that, but I think you can see why it's important for us to be able to help these people maintain an income and a living so that they can continue to not only feed us, but feed the world. One of the other questions I got is, Wes, our farmers don't feed the world. I mean, we're growing soybeans and corn that's hard as a brick. You couldn't eat it if you wanted to. And we laugh because that corn feeds, we went to a hog farm today, it feeds the pigs and the cows and the chickens that we eat. Soybeans is in everything you can imagine. And then I also said food and fiber, and of course cotton, most of us I think are wearing some cotton today. But if you'll open your billfolds, and a lot of us don't know that, those bills in your wallet are made out of cotton. And it's a blend, but of cotton. But it's important that we support the farmer, and especially in our community. What part of Dillon County can you ride through once you leave a town and head to the next town that you're not riding through somebody's farm and see crops on both sides of the road? So agriculture is a big part of what we do. Agriculture and tourism kind of flip-flop in this state, I think, if I'm correct, is their #1 enterprise, their #1 source of income. We're proud of what we do with the Farm Service Agency. Also, as I wrap up, I want to share with you, and this is another thing Johnny had made me do, so please blame her for this. But I did mention going through the Dillon County Palmetto Leadership Group, and it is tremendous training. I seriously do recommend that you get a chance to go through that program. They do a great job and you learn a lot. Having worked with Farm Service Agency and trying to be a part of all the different employee associations and the different commodity groups that we participate in. I showed horses for a living and was on the board of directors for the American Paint Horse Association and a member of the Judges Committee, the Palomino Association. We've been a part of all of that. But working with Farm Service Agency, I was trained in the COT program, which is our county office trainee program, to be a CED. And one of the trainers was Willard Page, who was a past president of NASCO. And NASCO is our employees association for all the county office employees across the country. And Willard said that we all have a responsibility, and I think all of us in this room do too, to leave this place, whether it's our jobs or our county or where we live, leave it better than we found it. And that's quite a challenge when you think about it. Several years ago, I got involved in our Employees Association on a local level, and then 6 years ago, got elected as the Southeast Area Executive Committee person. Served the last 2 years as Vice President, and this past August was elected as President for our National Employees Association, which is quite an honor, and it's quite a privilege to be able to work and represent this group of people. But the thing that I've enjoyed the most, I think, is learning how to negotiate with management, learning how to find ways to make things better that people say can't be changed and can't be better. There's nothing we cannot do if we don't put our minds and our efforts toward doing that. And it's just like this Farm City Week. I would like to see us grow it. I would like to see us build 4-H in this county, which is something that we've kind of let slip. I think teaching kids how to raise animals and even show animals so that they learn how to take care of them is a big part of growing up. I know it was a big part of my growing up. And I think people need the opportunity. I think the people in this room could be instrumental in us making that happen and us bring people back to our roots and back to the farm. With that said, Johnny, I love you. I'm not ever doing this again. I'm picky. But we would love to, if you'd like to stop by our office, we'd love to show you what we do and show you around. We enjoyed the tours today, and the people that helped set up the tours, we thank you very much for all of that. And invite you to come back again next year. Thank you.